Welcome to Wonderland Weekly, hosted by Toronto Ty. Now sit back and have a wonderful week.
Hey everyone, Toronto Ty here for a very special bonus episode. As many of you may have seen, Canada's Wonderland recently sent out a survey via email to, I assume, randomly selected pass holders. Although I didn't get the survey myself, I believe it's genuine and have some very strong feelings, so let's dive into each of the 3 potential coaster concepts the survey presents.
Blast Coaster. A strange, unexplainable force has taken over the core of Wonder Mountain. Strap into your winged coaster car and prepare for an exhilarating, high-speed launch that propels you through a cavernous, subterranean tunnel and into the heart of the mountain. Suddenly, you are blasted straight up and out of the summit's highest peak. Experience awe-inspiring views as you soar high above Canada's Wonderland and encounter a thrilling series of heart-pounding twists and dizzying turns.
There's a lot to process here. On the one hand, this is very much something 10-year-old me would have dreamed up. I'll admit, at first glance, this looks incredible. Very thrilling with a huge wow factor. It has clear similarities to the former Volcano the Blast coaster at King's Dominion, which was at the very top of my coaster bucket list until it was removed. The fact it's a launched wing coaster is really fun, offering possibilities of some great near-miss keyhole elements, and I like the idea of exploring even more of Wonder Mountain's mythos and interior. That's about where my excitement for this concept ends, though. Looking at Volcano the Blast coaster, it was a huge Paramount-era slam dunk. But at King's Dominion, their man-made mountain wasn't the icon and centerpiece of the park. Imagine walking through Front Gate and seeing Wonder Mountain dwarfed by coaster track and supports coming out the top. Imagine watching the Victoria Falls high divers and having a train rocketing out the summit, stealing the focus at a crucial moment. Imagine Winterfest and the tree lighting ceremony with a big, chunky loop of metal sticking out as if Wonder Mountain got a helix earring. Now, one thing I've seen mentioned is Wonder Mountain's Guardian, and what the future of the park's interactive dark ride coaster combo would be should this coaster concept move forward. I honestly have no trouble believing Guardian and this new ride could coexist. Based on the description of launching through a cavernous subterranean tunnel, my guess is the launch would go through the current basement access to the mountain interior, located between Mediterranean Kitchen and International Showplace. So then it would pass under Guardian's station before launching up between Guardian's upper level track and the Victoria Falls. If you read the description carefully, it sounds like this one launch would be the only element that actually uses Wonder Mountain though, with the rest of the ride being outside, meandering around the International Showplace. So it's worth considering if this one cool element is really worth having track poking out in every photo of Wonder Mountain moving forward. Overall, I love this riding concept, but I kind of hate it from a practical standpoint. I'd rate this as a 2 out of 10. Please don't build this. The cons far outweigh the one awesome element. As a quick aside, I genuinely think it would be way cooler to have an Intamin Impulse where instead of going out the top of Wonder Mountain, it just looks up at the ceiling where there could be a cool projection effect or something showing a dragon breathing fire, and the reverse drop would be us trying to escape. There are a few reasons I'm sure this wouldn't happen though, so let's just move on to the second coaster concept.
Concert Coaster. Live your greatest rock star dream as you and your bandmates go backstage behind the velvet ropes, hop on a winged coaster car, and launch literally onto a concert light-filled stage for the ultimate thrilling, pulse-pounding rock experience. A classic guitar riff sends you zooming over the spectators' heads and into a series of intense, high-speed inversions, all accompanied by your wing coaster's dynamic onboard audio system, blasting multiple classic audio tracks played by some of Canada's greatest bands.
This sounds like a coaster that would be pure fun start to finish. Once again, this is a launched wing coaster, which I think would be a great crowd pleaser, and the inclusion of onboard audio is really interesting. Although I doubt we'd get to choose our own song like Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios Orlando, I'm curious if the multiple classic audio tracks implies you would hear snippets of different songs throughout the ride, or if it would be a case of hearing one of a handful of songs each time you ride. So maybe you'd hear Avril Lavigne or The Tragically Hip during one ride, and then Arcade Fire or Rush on the next. Now, a music-themed coaster sounds awesome in a vacuum, but I know a lot of us might scratch our heads at how that fits in with the rest of the park. General consensus seems to be this coaster would most likely replace Kingswood Music Theater, and honestly, I think having a music-themed coaster here would be a great way to pay homage to the former concert venue. It sounds to me like the coaster would also use some of the existing elements of the theater, such as the stage, which is a great way to save some money while building a very well-themed ride. With such a huge plot of land, this could also signify the introduction of a brand new themed area with a few flat rides similarly themed or inspired by concerts and music in general. In other words, I don't think this fits into any themed area currently at the park, but there's always room for one more. And I do mean more. Kingswood is isolated enough that I don't think it would replace the Grand World Exposition of 1890, nor Action Zone. It would be its own self-contained area, paying homage to the land's former resident. Overall, I'd rank this concept as a 7 out of 10. It's really cool, really fun, but honestly, I just like more details about what kind of music will be featured and how it'll be paired with the ride experience. Are we talking Deadmau5? The Weeknd? Justin Bieber? Leonard Cohen? Sarah McLachlan? Is it going to be random music playing during an otherwise thrilling coaster experience like Rip Ride Rockit? Or will the music be timed out to enhance specific moments on the ride? Anyway, this is something I think I'd love as a 20-year-old. But now that I'm older than that, I worry about how appealing this ride will be to other ages. Speaking of other ages,
Eureka Ridge Ghost Town. Adventure and excitement await visitors to the small Canadian frontier mining town of Eureka Ridge Ghost Town and its signature wooden family coaster. Board your train car for a thrilling, harrowing, off-the-rails ride experience full of exciting drops, hair-raising turns, and a dynamic, explosive ending in the tunnels of an old abandoned gold mine.
this one is easily my favorite. While I can't be sure, it certainly seems like this wooden coaster would go somewhere in Frontier Canada, likely close to and possibly interacting with Whitewater Canyon and the surrounding forest. I know I'm not the only one who's been asking for exactly this. Hopefully manufactured by the great people at Great Coasters International. In my opinion, this could definitely be different enough from what the park already has by featuring high-speed, low-to-the-ground, twisty wooden track similar to Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. The fact it's described as a family coaster is also something that would be really nice in this section of the park, since it's right next to the kids' park. But don't worry, based on the reviews I've seen of Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun, just because something is classified as a family coaster doesn't mean it isn't still thrilling. My favorite part of this concept is actually the fact it's not just a coaster. While I speculated a bit about the concert coaster, this description puts the whole area front and center. As much as people praise Wonderland and Cedar Fair for the theming in Frontier Canada, it's really still felt like a collection of rides instead of a full themed area to me. This shows a full town, and I love it. I'm still trying to process where everything would go, but obviously this is very early concept art and subject to many changes. The one minor nitpick I have is the timing. I want this concept to happen, but I'd like to see some other sections of the park get built out more before Frontier Canada expands yet again. So overall, I'd rate this a 9.5 out of 10. Please do this eventually. That brings up one final question though, and that is, when? While I've seen some preliminary surveying around Kingswood Music Theater and Action Zone earlier this year, noticed a survey marking behind Wonder Mountain just a week or two ago, and even saw one marking close by to Tundra Twister around the time that path opened for the year, we are looking at 2025 at the absolute earliest. It could take longer than that as well, though, so be patient and remember that even if Wonderland doesn't build what you personally think they should, they make informed decisions about the what, where, and when of every project. Sometimes a project isn't right for right now, but it could always be revived in a few years. So who knows, maybe in 15 years we'll have all three of these concepts in one form or another. What are your thoughts on these coaster concepts? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, as always, have a good one! Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like the video, comment with anything you'd like me to cover in the future, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and support me on Patreon so that I can visit more parks and create more wonderful videos.